Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Sunday to you. Steve the Hurricane here with my good friend Cheryl Hammond. And we want to just welcome you to this webinar, Finishing Strong 2019. And want to just say something real quick. I'm excited to have this webinar. For the first time, we're trying a webinar in the evening. I know that over the years, we've had many people come to our webinars. People always want to try to be live on the webinars because I always give away things and I do bonus stuff and Q&A and all of that when you're on live. And if you miss it, we always do a recording, but when you do a recording, you don't get things like the webcam, you don't get the bonus Q&A, you don't get your questions answered and addressed. And I want to make sure that everyone's able to have that option. So we tried doing an evening webinar. There's going to be close to 300 of us on here in total as we jump into this. So it looks like it's going to be well attended. And I'm excited to have you here with me. So I want to thank you on this November 10th. And Cheryl, I want you, why don't you say hi to everybody and, welcome to this webinar, my friend.
Well, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here tonight. I greatly admire Steve the Hurricane, and I kept thinking all day I should be like a tornado or something to go along with this. But I think I'll leave you with the accolades there.
Well, thank you so much for that. That is interesting, and we could definitely get you a nickname. We have to come up with something fun like that. So,
sure.
And it is interesting, and I got the nickname from my old business partner like now 14 years ago. It is insane how fast time flies by. So, but
Yeah.
to all my friends there, and I see someone up. Good evening, Nicole. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you so much for the hello and the greetings from you. So as everybody's filtering on here, I just have a couple of things that I want to say real quick to you. First off, we want to make sure that this is as interactive as possible. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments about anything, I want you to be able to get your questions answered. We're going to keep this to an hour, so I want to fly through the material as quickly as I can for you, but as accurately as I can for you. So if everybody can just do me a favor, type yes where it says questions if you're ready for us to get started. Go ahead and type yes where it says questions, just to make sure that we all know how to communicate with each other here. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Addie Wells, man, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. All right, this is wonderful. I'm seeing all your names and everybody's typing yes here, yes please, yes please, yes please, yes please. Yeah, I know the Dallas Cowboys are playing the Minnesota Vikings right now. My Giants lost today, so I'm not happy about that. But my birthday is on Wednesday, and I am happy about that. So, all right. Let's dive in, all right? So as we get started, the first thing I want everybody to know, as you know, Cheryl Hammond is on here. You may not know where Cheryl Hammond is from, and so she gets a very big thank you for being on this webinar with me as a new partner that we're working with in Veterans Care Coordination. Now, briefly, like in 2 minutes or less, Cheryl, what is Veterans Care Coordination?
Well, thank you. I love talking about it because I'm very excited, especially tomorrow being Veterans Day. We truly try to honor veterans every day with getting the word out about the aid and attendance benefit. The pension with aid and attendance benefit is something that's very rarely talked about, and a lot of times veterans don't even know that they have this benefit. And it works towards individuals who could otherwise not afford home care. And veterans tend to be very prideful people, and when you're talking to them in the home consultation, they don't always come forthright with the fact that maybe they can't afford it. So I'm going to talk about today things that you can do to help veterans and honor veterans every day beyond tomorrow and give them this great opportunity for this benefit. And that's what we do.
I love it. And to all of our veterans out there, thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you do and fighting for our freedoms overseas to make sure that we're protected and we can go safe and soundly to bed every single night. All the things that we're able to do in this country is partly because of the things that you do for us. So we are truly grateful to you and we honor you. So thank you, veterans. So, all right, as we're getting started here, I also have a huge announcement that I want to say to each and every single person here because it has been a long time coming. And for some people on here, I think this entire group is all private duty home care. Well, you may have not heard this, but 2 weeks ago, my company, Hurricane Marketing Enterprises, we officially launched the home health and hospice marketing division of Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. We had an event. It was a small one-day marketing workshop, and it sold out within 2 weeks of us posting about it, which was absolutely unheard of. The people who came to it have been following us for half a decade, and they were saying things like, I've been waiting for you to do this, and thank you so much for doing this. This makes so much sense. We want to do it. And there have been huge companies that have already contacted us about doing business and training their executives and their salespeople and moving forward. And it's just such a big blessing. And so I'm truly honored. I'm truly grateful to be announcing this with you because some of you who are clients know that we have like a referral program. And if you were to refer your home health, your hospice power partners to us and they were to sign up for services, you can get services for free by doing that. And so along the same lines, the other thing that I want to announce with this is the next boot camp. Earlier this year, back in July, I had posted a message saying that there were no more boot camps for 2019, and that was the truth. There were no more boot camps for 2019 because I had to work on creating the differences and the separating portions for the home health and the hospice from the private duty, and so I needed that extra time, so having another boot camp wasn't viable. This boot camp will be extra special because it will be the first time ever in the history of Hurricane Marketing Enterprises, 8 years now we've been doing boot camps, where it'll be a combined boot camp. So we will have breakouts for private duty. We will have breakouts for hospice. We will have breakouts for home health. And it is going to blow away anything you have ever seen. You mark those dates on your calendar right now. I guarantee you, because I've been to this hotel before, the space is limited. And with home health and hospice being able to attend it, this event will sell out. I'm announcing it now. There will be early bird discounts. If you want to get in right away, I highly recommend you get the tickets and you reserve it now because this is the event not to miss, all right? So mark your calendars, March 18th, 19th, and 20th, Houston, Texas, for the very next Hurricane Marketing Boot Camp, all things private duty, home health, and hospice. And so now, let's jump into the meat and the potatoes here, right? I know here it is, it's 2019, and this year flew by. Cheryl, I know you and I have been speaking since last year this time, and it feels like you saw me do a snap of my fingers, right? I feel like I snapped my fingers, and it's now almost 2020, right? And so a lot of us might be in panic mode. This year maybe have not gone the way that we wanted it to, or even if it did go the way we wanted to, I still want to make sure that I finish 2019 as strong as I possibly can. What can I do to finish 2019 as strong as I can? And so this is why I put this webinar together, because there's 5 steps, and I want you to write this down right now. Step number 1 is X Factor marketing, and I'll go through what that means. Step number 2 is going to events. At this time of year, there are a plethora of events. You want to go to them, I'll tell you what we have to go to make sure that you get the face time to maximize your referral potential during this time of year. We're going to talk about holiday gift giving because you have to be very strategic with it. And so I'm going to touch base on that briefly. Then I'm going to talk about getting holiday referrals and being ready for holiday referrals, which is something that a lot of people have a hard time with. I know those of you who came to the Institute for Dignity and Grace Caregiver Recruitment and Retention Summit last week in Pennsylvania, we talked about being ready for referrals. We talked about some things that you can do to be ready with your staff and your caregivers. I'm going to touch on it now So this way you have an idea as to what we have to do to be ready for referrals that come in. And then the last thing, which is something that a lot of people don't realize, but it's the end of the year. If you have outstanding debts, you have got to get paid. You've got to be able to close out this year. So we're going to touch base on that. And that's a big reason why I have Cheryl on this with us, because she's an expert in that area. So let's just dive right into it. And again, folks, if you have any questions, type your questions in there. I want to be able to answer it. We're going to stop in 50 minutes, all right? So let's go right into this right now. So the first thing you got to do is X Factor marketing. You have to risk being the fool. What does risk being the fool mean? It means doing things that stand out from the competition. If there is one thing that I have heard time and time and time again from social workers, discharge planners, physicians, executive directors, and directors of nursing and other referring parties in referral sources, it's that every single home care company all does and says the same thing. We have the best caregivers. We do this. We do that. Everybody does and says the same thing. And that's why I love this background photo here that I put up here, because I feel like everybody is all the people that are in the shadows over here to the left side. The one person who risks being the fool, who stands out from the crowd, is the person running down the street with their arms up in the air like this, and they're in red and they're glaring. Halloween was last week. Many of my clients went costume marketing, and they booked all of this month and all of next month with events, activities, lunch and learns, and everything else. Now, Halloween is past, but you have Thanksgiving coming up. You have Christmas coming up, and Hanukkah, and the end of the year coming up. Use this opportunity to do things different from your competition so that you stand out. You see where it says Jerry Rice here at this second bullet? The Jerry Rice bullet is a quote that I use, that I've been living by since I was in college. And and it's crazy to say this as I'm turning 39 on Wednesday, right? It's been almost 20 years since I first heard this quote. Okay, so I'm starting to get a little older there. But Jerry Rice said, "Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't." And I want you to write that down. Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. And what he meant by that is he was talking about his work ethic and his training and his route running. Like when you look at Jerry Rice and all the records that Jerry Rice set as a football player, he set these crazy records that will never be broken, or it'll take somebody incredibly talented, incredibly special to break it, because they're all chasing him, and no one has been able to catch him in almost 20 years of him having left the game. Why is that the case? The reason why is because he is known as the best route runner. He ran perfect routes. He did extra practice on top of practice on top of practice, so that when Sunday came, Sunday was just like pass and catch, and nobody could compete with him. Well, the same thing goes when it comes to your marketing effort. We've got to commit to it. One of the biggest things that I see most home care companies do, and as to why they fail at getting into referral sources, is they don't put enough of an effort into it. And so if you don't put the effort into it, you don't put the time into it, you don't lay that foundation, you're not going to be able to build that house. You're not going to be able to get the referrals that you need to be able to double and triple your business like many of my clients do year after year after year. Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. All right? So think about it from that perspective. I'm going to commit to making the time. I'm going to be different. How do you be different? Some of the things I teach people to do are like creating specialty programs. Many of you are certified with TIPA Snow or dementia practitioners. So take programs. Go out there and be the best dementia specialist. Be the best specialist with Jerry Psych. Be the best specialist with stroke patients. Run with that. When you're different, you stand out from the crowd and you'll get the referrals you're after. The other bullet on here you see is have fun. I understand marketing is difficult. I'm a marketer myself by trade. I was a marketer for 4 years before I owned the company that I eventually turned around and sold before starting Hurricane Marketing Enterprises. I know how difficult marketing can be. But I'll tell you, if you hate marketing and it shows, your referral sources will see that. And nobody likes a boring marketer. Nobody likes a boring business owner. You don't want to be the owner or the marketing representative that with the referral sources see you come in and they go, ugh, it's Jane. Ugh, it's Nicole. Ugh, it's Susan. That's not who you want to be. You want to be, oh, hey, Jane. How you doing? Oh, hey, Susan, what's going on? How have you been? Like, come on in, sit down. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Like, that's how you want it to be because you're fun. You're enjoying it. Find out what people are doing for the holidays. Strike up a conversation. One thing that everybody has in common during this time of year is they're getting together with their family, whether they love their family or they love to hate their family. And notice what I said. Love to hate their family, not hate, right? They love their family or they love to hate their family. Either way, you all have conversations and you know what to do and you know what to say. Be yourself. At the end of the day, that's what gets you remembered. People remember you because you're real, you're authentic. So be authentic, be yourself, put it out there. I know it's not easy for some of us to do. But when you put it out there, people will receive you as who you are, and then that's what leads them to trust you with, you know what, John, I think that you're going to be the perfect person for this client. This client, you're a compassionate man. I like what you have to say. I got somebody in a great need and dire straits. Can you help them? Yes, I can. So that's your X Factor marketing. All right. Next slide I want to jump to is all of the events. And I love this photo. I've been doing some I invested in like a nice photo opportunity or photo website. I think it's digital deposits or depositphotos.com or something like that. And I was searching, and this photo was just, I thought, perfect because this totally is what a networking event looks like. Everyone's wearing a name tag, they're having coffee in the morning, and they're chit-chatting and all of that. This is not the time of year to miss events. This is not the time of year to pass on things. You need to go to everything. Yes, your competitors go there. I know this. I understand this. That's what everybody's doing. But when you go to your events, you want to be scheduling follow-up. You want to be making those power partners. You want to be talking about 2020 now. I have some follow-up webinars I'm going to be doing later on this year and early next year on how to make 2020 your best year yet. Well, it starts by making connections and contacts now that you're going to build upon in the new year. So the way you do it is by going to everything. Now, the next bullet on here, outcomes meetings. This is in the accounts that you're already getting business from. Many of us already have referral sources. Some refer us more than others, but I guarantee anybody who's been in business for at least 3 years, you have at least one referral source that has referred you 5 or 6 patients this year. So this is the time of year to book what's called an outcomes meeting. And it's when you go to that number one referral source and you say to them, hey, I know it's the holiday season. I know you guys are very busy. Can I schedule in January? You got to do this now, though, because you got to get it on the calendar. They're busy. Get it on the calendar for January so the first week of January you can hit the ground running. Can I schedule an outcomes meeting? What do you mean by that? I would like to sit down with you and all the people who refer me here at this referral source and go through all the patients you sent me in 2019. That is a phenomenal way to not only finish 2019 strong, but get a head start on making 2020 your best year yet. So schedule those outcomes meetings. Next are the holiday parties. Now, how do I put this? There's a lot of opportunities with holiday parties. I know back in the day when I used to go to events and some of my top referral sources, they had holiday parties, and some of them invited me to the holiday parties, and sometimes I could make a donation to the holiday party. And I'll come back to that on the next slide when I go through gift giving. If you get the chance to go to a holiday party, unless you have a prior commitment, please do not pass on that opportunity. Whenever you get to go to a referral source's holiday party, that means that they view you and they treat you the way they would an employee. Do you know how lucky you are to get to go to their holiday party? I mean, think about it. Most holiday parties are held at reception halls or hotels or something like that. There's usually a cost of anywhere of $50 to $100 per person to go to a holiday party. And if you're invited to it, you have to go. Now, be smart, all right? At a lot of holiday parties, you have coworkers who work together for a year or years. There's usually alcohol served, all right? Let them drink. Let them get wasted if that's what they want to do, all right? Because that happens at holiday parties. For yourself, remember what I always say to people, 2 drink maximum. It's okay to have a drink. I had family over earlier today, and I drank a bunch of different stuff because it's my birthday, right? But at a holiday party when it's professional and I'm going to another company's holiday party, yeah, I'm gonna have 2 drinks. I'll have a glass of wine. I might have some cognac or something like that, and just sip on it slowly, or have some spiked eggnog or something, and just sip on it slowly. It is not the time for you to let loose, but rather it's time for you to get to know the people in that referral source personally. People, like, I want you to write this down. All things equal, people refer who they know, like, and trust. It's as simple as that. Your prices, your rates, I guarantee, are comparable to all of your competition. Why do they refer who they do? Because they know, like, and trust them. And if you go to these events and you get to know them as a person, they will know, like, and trust you, and that will lead to the referrals. So that's what I have to say on the holiday parties. The next one are the health fairs. This time of year, for whatever reason, especially in November, I think it's because November is Alzheimer's month. The year is coming to a close, so there's this, we didn't do this. Like, there's always that the late people to the party kind of a thing, right? So, oh no, we didn't have a health fair yet. Oh no, it's the Alzheimer's month, we didn't prepare for it. Get to those health fairs. Now, when you go to a health fair, a lot of times health fairs are at hospitals or 55 plus communities, and they're for the public. Here's what I want you to write down. If you go to the public, before you say to somebody, hey, you might need our services, or hey, if you need us one day, give us a call. Don't ever say that to a senior. What you want to say is, number one, do you know somebody who would like to be here, but they can't because they're stuck at home? And I'll repeat that so you can write it down. Number one, do you know somebody who would like to be here, but they can't because they're stuck at home? And then number two, do you know somebody who is either currently in the hospital or has been in the hospital in the last 3 months? Do you know somebody who is currently in the hospital or has been in the hospital in the last 3 months? Now, the reason why you ask those 2 questions is because when they say yes, and think about the nature of the people you're speaking to, they're all seniors, right? So if you're speaking to the public and they're seniors, chances are they know somebody in the hospital. Chances are they know somebody who would like to come to this health fair, and they can't. Then you say, my services, what I do is for that person right now. When you do this, every client of mine who does this correctly, they all tell me, wow, I go to health fairs and I walk out with 2 or 3 referrals. That's exactly what will happen for you. That's how you can finish 2019 strong. You can go to 3 health fairs and pick up 6 leads and convert half of them as 3 more clients. That's a nice bonus on top of what you're going to get anyway from many of you. Vendor fairs. When you go to your vendor fairs, your goal of a vendor fair, because a lot of times you're at a vendor fair, it's a whole bunch of vendors. Make sure you spend time with the other vendors. You've heard me talk about Power Partners before. Some of you are clients. Most of you are not clients of mine, and that's totally fine. I want you to be a client. You should be a client. if you want to finish 2019 strong, as a matter of fact, you should become a client. Okay? So, but when it comes to vendor fairs, when you go there, you've got to be thinking who here offers a product or a service that's synergistic with mine, that we're going after the same target customer, but we don't compete with each other. And then I want to talk to that person about forming a strategic partnership, otherwise known as a power partner, in the new year. This is how you finish 2019 strong. I think many of you who follow me on Facebook, you saw me post the other day, it was like Tuesday of last week, and I said 2020 begins now. And so I'm finishing 2019 strong. This is going to be one of my best years in business that we've ever had, and we're doing more than we've ever done before in the past. And a big part of the reason why is because I set it up in 2018. So my 2019 close is wrapping up everything that I have to wrap up on the calendar, finalizing everything, doing all the things that I'm sharing with you here for my business, while I'm also setting up partnerships and everything for the new year, not waiting until January, but rather having appointments, events, and follow-up already scheduled for the new year so I can hit the ground running January 2nd. That all comes from these vendor fairs and all of these events. The last thing I want to touch base on is to collaborate on your own events and do your own events. I was at one of my mastermind clients' offices last month with several of her power partners, and we put together an entire calendar for December, January, February, and March, 4 months worth of events, activities, collaborations, and the whole 9 yards. Then they had a lot of follow-up to do, and then last week it was 3 weeks later, they had their follow-up meeting, and everything that they had to accomplish from meeting 1 to meeting 2 was accomplished. They have venues now, they're making flyers, they're collaborating, they're co-marketing, and they're all referring each other. The people who run events are always the most successful. Do not let the holiday season pass without you running at least one event. It is huge if you want to finish 2019 strong. Next slide. Holiday gift giving. All right. So what do we do with holiday gift giving? Do we give out gifts? As you see, very simple. Yes, we give out gifts, but follow the rules. Some referral sources will not allow you to give gifts. I'll talk about what to do with them in a moment. But for the places that allow you to give out gifts, absolutely do it. This should be something that you had budgeted for back at the beginning of the year. I used to spend close to like $10,000 on holiday gift giving when I had my company. Now, granted, my company was doing over $5-6 million a year back in the day, so $10,000 is a drop in the bucket. We're talking about like 0.1% of the total revenue generated, but still, I spent almost $10,000 in some instances. And you see where it says tier by accounts right here? That's huge. So in my A, you just listed out A, B, and C. My A type accounts, I would get specific customized gifts for specific people that I knew, that I saw regularly. One of my favorite social workers, Liz, I'll never forget her. Many of you who've seen me do a training where I interviewed my social workers, and I didn't have to do this, right? Like it wasn't a necessity, but and she even told me I shouldn't have, but I said I know I shouldn't have, but I wanted to. We have a put it this way. Liz, I met in 2005. I left the healthcare industry as a direct service provider in 2012. Here it is 2019, and I still talk to Liz, and we send Christmas cards back and forth. So obviously our relationship was more than just professional. It's a friendship. It was a friendship. I've met her husband. She's met my wife. I've met her son. She's met my children. It's a friendship. And any friend of mine I would get a gift for, and vice versa. That's why we exchange holiday cards, right? So I knew that Liz was really into her son and her husband and traveling and pictures. And so I had purchased her right when they first came out those picture frames where you could upload and put up to like 100 photos in there or something. And again, she told me I didn't have to. But then 2 weeks later, when it's January, and I came back into her office and I saw it on her desk, and she had like 60 photos cycling through, and she thanked me. And it was because it was a very thoughtful gift. I knew it was something that she would appreciate, and I knew her as a A-type referral source, and our relationship was that of one deserving of something like that, right? And not to say that you're leveraging it for business, because I don't want to say deserving. Maybe that's the wrong word. I appreciated what she did for me, and so I wanted to do something nice for her. She's an A-type account for me. She's one of my top referral sources, and I did stuff like that for all of my top referral sources that allowed me to do that. In other instances, when I had an A-type account where I wasn't allowed to give a gift specifically, but then they would say, could you make a donation to our holiday party? I definitely made a donation. One of the biggest and most popular items at the holidays, people like to have a drink every once in a while. I used to give out a giant bottle, like one of those big, like, $60, $70 bottles of Grey Goose, to the holiday party with a big bow from Care Choice. And they would do like raffles and stuff to who's going to win the prize. And after the holiday party ended, the week after, everybody saw me and said, everybody wanted your gift. Thank you for that donation. And then the person who got it came right up, I got the Grey Goose. Like it was funny, right? So those are gift ideas, and those are things that you can do for like your A-type accounts. Your B-type accounts, something smaller, something in like the $25 range, and it's something that can be consistent. I'm not a fan of gift cards. I feel gift cards is so impersonal. You might as well just give somebody $25 if that's what you're going to do. You're much better off doing something, again, personalized, but within, a certain dollar amount. And then your C-type accounts, that's when you do your company logo on something with chocolates. I remember we used to do nonpareils, snow caps, like the chocolate with the white beads on it. So we would do nonpareils in a coffee cup. One year we did like a coffee mug. Another year we did like a coffee travel cup. And another year we did like some other type of coffee travel thingy. One was plastic, one was metal or something like that. But we filled them up. We wrapped them in cellophane. We did it ourselves to reduce the cost. I believe my cost per cup was around $10, and I could walk in and give one to this social worker, one to this social worker, this administrator, that director of nursing. Many of you have heard about the legendary Care Choice ice scrapers. Let me see if I can go grab one of those right now for you. But these legendary Care Choice ice scrapers were absolutely fantastic, and everybody loved them. Oh, wow, yeah, I did find it. So I do have one left. It's broken. This thing is like 10 years old now at this point, but I gave out these legendary Care Choice ice scrapers, right? And so people love these things. And you see right here, this is where the ice scraper was. They have my logo on it, but these things were like $5 a piece. Today, they're probably $10 a piece, and where the scraper was, there would be an ice scraper here, and it would say Care Choice across the top. That was my company's name. That's a great item that you can give away that's well used during this time of year, and people appreciate it. The last thing I want to touch on in this slide before moving forward is, when do you give out your holiday gifts? Find out if you're allowed to give gifts. In certain situations, like with the holiday parties, you have to do it by a certain time, and they may even tell you, all right? In other instances, if they don't give you a timeline, I say do it early. Get it out of the way before everybody else. Because when do people do it? They usually do it like 2 weeks before Christmas, right? 2 weeks before the end of the year. Now, you have to think about the holidays too. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. Not everybody celebrates Hanukkah. Not everybody celebrates Kwanzaa and Ramadan and everything else. And Diwali, I think, is like the festival. Like, everybody's got a different holiday at this time of year, right? But you can do Thanksgiving. Like, why not do Thanksgiving gifts and then let that be your gift? Or do it after Christmas, after all the holidays, right before New Year's, and get it all in, or right after New Year's and do it as a welcoming the New Year, to a prosperous 2020. right? I know there's some people on here, but you might be a Jehovah's Witness. You don't celebrate holidays. That's fine. You can do a prosperous New Year gift, right? Those are things that you can do that separate you. If everybody's leaning to the left, you want to lean to the right. So if I give out a Thanksgiving gift as my year-end gift when nobody else is doing it, I stand out. If I give out a New Year's gift because people don't do that, then it stands out from the crowd so that during the 2 weeks when everybody else is giving out gifts, I don't have to be part of all of that. I can focus on other things that are going to help me to generate revenue. So there's my tips on that, and that's how you handle the holidays with the holiday gift giving. The last thing is for the accounts where you're not allowed to give away something. There are a lot of accounts that consider giving away a gift a kickback. While I understand, I think it's crap. I just think, I really do, it's crap. And it's not our fault. It's really the pharmaceutical companies and the big tech companies that used to give away like a trip to Hawaii or a car or a $10,000 bonus check if you wrote enough prescriptions, and people started getting hurt. That's the reason. Like, I want you all to know that's the reason why. So it's not our fault. Nobody is going to refer you a patient because you gave them a bottle of Grey Goose, right? Like that's not going to happen, all right? But regardless, some places don't allow you to do it. That's fine. Respect their wishes. So what I recommend you do is get cards made up. Make a donation to your favorite charity of choice, and then give out the card. And so you say, here, Cheryl, I know that you're not allowed to receive gifts, so here's what I did with the money that I allocated to buy a gift for you. I gave it to the Merchant Marines for the Toys for Tots. I gave it to the Alzheimer's Association. I gave it to the American Heart Association because my mother had a stroke and it affected her heart, and so I want to be able to pay it forward, and so I did this for you. I even remember back in the day at my wedding, my wife and I, we did a Superman-themed wedding. So I'm Superman and she's Lois Lane. And it was all like the Justice League. So everybody, instead of getting, you sit at table 1, table 2, table 3, it was you sit at Batman's table, you sit at Wonder Woman's table, you sit at Spider-Man's table. Like everybody had a cool table like that. And instead of doing like favors, because nobody keeps favors, we made a significant donation to the Christopher Reeves Foundation, and we got cards with Christopher Reeves on it, which was for spinal cord injuries and traumatic brain injuries. And everybody opened up the card, and they looked at it, and they're like, this was so cool. And we had so many compliments on doing that. Like, people remembered that more than they would have a matchbook, right? And so I just throw that out there to you because you still want to do something, and then when you do this in a place where they're not allowed to receive a gift, it has the effect of giving a gift, and it shows that you recognized it and you respected that they're not allowed to receive gifts. That is a beautiful thing, and you're making a difference. So I highly, highly recommend you do something of that nature when it comes to places that don't allow you to do gifts. Still give a gift, but the gift is a donation made in their name to whatever charity you choose. Last thing, and then I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl on getting paid, is holiday referrals. All right, this is the time of year where your referral sources, they scramble when it's the holidays. We are in healthcare. It's a 24/7 business. Just because it's Thanksgiving doesn't mean hospitals close. Just because it's Christmas Eve doesn't mean that the nursing home is not going to send discharges home. Those of you who've been to my boot camps over the years and you've heard me talk about the events and all the things that we do, you've heard me share stories, and one of them I talk about is my Christmas miracle, where we took a lady home on Christmas Eve, like 4:00 in the afternoon. Part of the reason why we got that case is because we were ready for it. So make a flyer talking about your standard operating procedures for being on call. It's the holiday. It's Thanksgiving. We know you're going to need help. If you do, give us a call. Here's what we're doing for the holiday, and have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy Thanksgiving. Have a prosperous New Year. Go out and have fun, but if you need us, reach out to us. We are here for you. And you got to start doing this now. Here it is. I'm telling you this now. It's November 10th. Thanksgiving is a week late this year. So good, you have more time to prepare for Thanksgiving. But do you know what that means when Thanksgiving is late? That means you have less time to get ready for Christmas and the New Year, because when Thanksgiving is late, December 25th is always December 25th, right? So that doesn't change. So we lose a week with that part of it. So you have to start now. Tomorrow, I would get up and come to my office, do my office stuff, catch up with the weekend and everything, and then tomorrow afternoon, start making the flyers for how you're going to handle calls during the holidays themselves so that you can get the referrals. And again, I want to shout out to my Jewish friends, especially my Orthodox Jewish friends. Nini, who is one of my favorite clients many years ago, who's now one of my coaches, she's Orthodox. So she celebrated all of the high holy holidays in the Jewish faith. She did not celebrate Thanksgiving. She did not celebrate Christmas. She did not really celebrate New Year's either because Rosh Hashanah was her New Year's. So as a result of that, she would go to the hospitals. She would go to the rehabs on the holiday because she worked the holiday. And let me tell you, the amount of face time she received by going to the referrals, because they're open. And there was nobody stopping her from coming in and marketing because she was the only person who came in to market on the holidays. So if you happen to be somebody who doesn't celebrate holidays and you don't have a get-together, take advantage, all right? I know I kind of elaborate that. Take advantage, right? But take advantage of that situation and get in there and get that face time, all right? Now, you see what this says right here? Find out the mod. What is the mod? The mod is the manager on duty. Find out who that manager on duty is for the referral source so that this way you can reach out to that person, give them your flyer, and let them know. And then as far as delivering on promises goes, yeah, this is proactive staffing, folks. You have to find out and create a hot list of available people for the holiday. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. Remember what I said at the very beginning, right? I will do today what others won't, so I can do tomorrow what others can't. By you preparing to get work on the holidays and having a list of people who are willing to work on the holiday before the holiday, you will be able to capitalize on the business when it comes in that no one else will be able to capitalize. And this takes me back many years when I had my own company, when I used to outwork my competition who were already entrenched in accounts. And then it's the holiday, and their go-to agency didn't have anybody, wasn't available, wasn't even open, couldn't even reach him. So then they said, all right, let me call Steve. He gave me a flyer, and we're available, and we had somebody, and we took it, and then we worked our way in there. That is one of the best ways to get into an account that is not referring you, by being available to them when no one else is. Work hard now so you can play hard in the future. And so now the last part of this, and there's a couple things I'll go over too at the end, so don't just hang up here, all right? There's a couple more things I have after this as well. But I want to talk about getting paid. You know, I've had clients over the years, especially with this first one, with the Veterans Program, I've had clients who've written off $80,000 and $100,000 by not getting paid by the Veterans Administration, and they would fill out forms and they contact, and then they decided to get out of the whole benefit all on its own, and that is just a tragedy. And so this is where I'm going to turn it over to Cheryl to talk about the Aid and Attendance Program, to talk about Veterans Care Coordination and how they can help to be a payer source for you to get the resources you need to run your business. So, Cheryl, take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Steve. Actually, I'm equating to following you like trying to sing a Whitney Houston song on American Idol. You know, it's your energy level is just far beyond what I could do, and your knowledge is so incredibly impressive. So I'm honored to be on this with you.
Thank you.
Just so there's many of you who don't know who I am, and I did see that I've got some really good friends on here from my previous life, and so to you. But so that you know, I spent almost 11 years in a national brand in their support and operations department. So I truly do kind of understand. I'm not going to say that I understand what it's like to run day to day because I was not in the day to day, but from a sister type part, I was very involved in the industry, and so I understand the obstacles and the challenges that you have of diversifying your portfolio to really give you a strong foundation as a home care agency. And that's where I want to talk about this veterans program and Veterans Care Coordination. We are not the silver bullet. And I don't think any one particular thing is the silver bullet. It is a combination of many things that you put together that builds a very solid business. Private pay is always going to be the big daddy in the home care industry. But you also have other opportunities to build your business by using other means and revenue streams. So Veterans Care Coordination basically takes a potential veteran, takes them through a 4-step process, and if they qualify, it is a lifetime benefit. That's where this becomes a little bit different than other programs, because not every program is a lifetime benefit. This one is a lifetime benefit, the pension with aid and attendance. So let me kind of break it down a little bit for you. The pension part of it is not military retirement. That's totally different. Pension is for those that have been honorably discharged from the military that have a financial need. So this is both the pension, and then you have the aid and attendance. Aid and attendance is for those activities of daily living that you need support, and a physician has to demonstrate that you need support at home, and then you don't have the funds to do it. Say you're a veteran, you don't have funds to do it, but you served in the military, you were honorably discharged, you served at least 90 days during a wartime, at least one day. You would be eligible to apply for this benefit. Now, I'll kind of go over what those qualifications are in just a moment. But the idea is you have to have both. You have to have the pension and the aid and attendance for this benefit. And there's a couple things that I think is important for you to recognize. That it isn't, it can be, you can do it on your own. You can go and go direct to the VA. But with what Veterans Care Coordination does is it manages that account for that client, for that veteran. Because if you get outside of the parameters at any time, you could lose the benefit or you may have to pay back some money. So we manage that account so that you don't have to worry about that. And it's a constant flow of income for that veteran and for you as a provider. So what are the qualifications? Well, like I said, you have to have served 90 days during, be active duty for 90 days and 1 day during a wartime. Now, what are those wartimes? World War II, the Korean conflict, the Vietnam era, and the Persian Gulf War has technically not been ended, so it's to be determined when the ending date of that is. The veteran or the surviving spouse. Don't forget that the veteran may have passed on. The surviving spouse is still eligible for this benefit. They must have a medical condition that is not related to military duty. And then they had to have an honorable discharge, which I mentioned. And their income to medical expenses have to meet. And I'll explain that in a minute. Your assets can't be more than $127,000. And it excludes a home of 2 acres or less and a car. Now, in order to qualify, like I said, with the income to medical expense ratio, it has to equal out. So say you get $1,700 a month in retirement, or that's the income you have. You would have to have $1,700 or more in medical expenses in order to get this benefit. Now, where we come in is you can pay for home care and make that ratio work for you so that you get the benefit. So what happens is we go through with the veteran to help them understand if they have the qualifying factors. If they do, we will say, okay, now you have to, and a lot of times people have to start home care before they can get this benefit. But the problem is they're looking for the benefit because they don't have the money. So they got a little bit of a dilemma there. What's unique about Veterans Care Coordination is that we have a care advance program where we will loan the client, the veteran, the money to do the home care while the application process is going on. And then when the application is approved, it's retroactive back to with the submission date, and then the loan is satisfied. We take the risk, not the home care agency. We partner with them. We're not a vendor. We're a partner. We want to partner with you for two reasons. One, we want to help you grow your business through veterans. And two, we want to help the veteran, because only 3% of veterans actually get this benefit. And it's not because they're not eligible. It's because they don't know about it. The VA is not very good about demonstrating all the opportunities that are out there. So what are the advantages of the aid and attendance program? It's simply a lifetime benefit. And as long as we're managing it, or someone is managing it, but we prefer for us to manage it, then they can keep it for as long as they need that care. That's what's really important. And about 78% of our clients take advantage of our loan, the care advance loan. And that's because they just can't afford it. Now, what I find is that veterans, and I said this at the beginning, that they're very prideful because, they've sacrificed a lot. They put their name on the line, on that, their life on the line for the country. And for them to say, I can't afford to take care of myself, it's hard. And so having this loan gives them a little bit of dignity to be able to say, yeah, I'll take advantage of that. That'll work for me. So that's where I think we have that uniqueness to help home care agencies, because if you think about the people that you come in contact with, and especially veterans who may have very little income, this is a gift to them. And Steve talking about giving gifts, this is a gift, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to afford it. Now, I know that there are some other programs through the VA, and they can stack onto this benefit. So, you might have a veteran in your agency that is already getting some benefit. It doesn't mean that they can't still get the pension with aid and attendance. And so that's something else to think about that not everybody knows. And I think, too, this strengthens profitability for you, although the reimbursement rate may not be as high as your private pay. Again, those payer mixes can really help you when maybe your private pay is a little bit low at some point. You've lost some clients. You got that steady stream of income coming in. And unlike working directly with the VA, our payment is consistent, and it's not 6 months, 9 months, like he was talking with one of his friends. And I actually knew someone that was still waiting on payment from like a year and a half ago.
18 months. Yep. I've heard that too.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I know that they're trying to work through that and fix that. So I can't say that that'll always be the truth, but the pension with aid and attendance you can get up to $26,000, roughly $700, possibly toward income or towards your home care. And the other thing is it can also be in conjunction with Medicaid home care. So if they're only getting a limited number of hours through Medicaid, then they can also get possibly the pension with aid and attendance to stack onto that. So it's not necessarily a standalone always. It can be, but it can also stack with other things. I think, being in the home care industry for as long as I have, you look for people with common goals. I think I have a common goal with Steve. I could not agree more with every single thing that he said in this webinar so far. And you look for people like that. He calls them power partners, and that's exactly what they are. And it's what I think we are, is a power partner, because we have common goals with home care agencies. We want to provide home care for those who can't afford it. It's great to have those very wealthy clients that can pay right out of pocket. That's fabulous. But unfortunately, not everybody has had that kind of success in their life. I was recently at my husband's. Oh, go ahead. Did you have something you want to say?
No, I was going to say, well, and that's exactly why I wanted you to be on here with us because the more we can do to be able to help our clients get the affordability, the better. And as we're coming up to the top of the hour here, I just want to be mindful of the time, but I will come back after we're finished. I got a couple more things to say with you here to be finished on time. But then I'll take like 2 minutes at the end, and we do have a question as well, Cheryl. That's for you. So I'm gonna read the question in a moment. I want you to answer the question too. But I'm actually going to show you something from the latest Home Care Pulse that a lot of people aren't aware of, where it comes to all of the payer sources as you start your 2020 planning. There are collections. Don't forget about the collections as you're closing out 2019. There are certain clients that are outstanding. You have to make sure that you take care of it. I know that there were always like this 4 or 5 clients that we always had. We had 100 plus clients on our census, but there was always this 4 or 5 clients that got outstanding. And when you're providing care 24/7, when you're providing care 84 hours a week, those invoices, they get high. And somebody could owe you 10 grand, $20,000 real quick if you let it get out of control. So this is also a time of year to take a look at what those accounts receivables look like. And if you have to go out and make field visits and check in on clients and actually pick up a check, you can do that during this time of year. You got to close out the year. So this is the time of year to make sure that you're finishing 2019 strong. And then the last one is your long-term care insurance as a payer source. And I'm going to say this, accept the assignment of benefits. I don't have time to go into it, but if you do, it will separate you from all of your competitors. Too many companies will have the client pay you, and then you submit the bills and the client get reimbursed. If you are the company that accepts the assignment of benefits and gets paid directly from the long-term care insurance company, you will get more clients that will stay on services with you for long-term, and it's a guaranteed payer source at your full rate. Anybody on here who's one of my clients, the home care special ops class that I teach you, I talk all about this in great detail. So I highly recommend you get on that class when I run the next one in January, because I'm going to go over everything about long-term care insurance there. So again, I want to be mindful of time. You got 3 minutes. As we're closing out, I want you all to remember this, all right? Write this down. The next Hurricane Marketing Bootcamp is going to be in Houston, Texas. You can go to my website right now. We have an early bird special that will go through the end of the month. This event will sell out. This is the first time I'm announcing it. If you are committed, if you've been saying, Steve, I want to get to your next one, just do it now. Like, go right to the website, homecaremarketing.net/bootcamp. It's $499. Full price is $799. All right, so I took $300 off as my thank you to you. This is a 3-day event. Home health, hospice, and private duty collective presentations on how to power partner. This is definitely one I recommend you get your power partners to come with you, because when I train all of you together, you're going to leave as a team ready to go back and take over your industry. This is the first time I'm doing it this way after having done my pilot home health and hospice event 2 weeks ago in Houston. It was amazing, and I'm telling you, do not miss this opportunity. Get your power partners with you and get on a plane and come to Houston, Texas. If you live in Texas, well, Texas is enormous. If you live in the Houston area or within 3 or 4 hours of Houston, get in your car and drive to Houston for this event and bring your power partners with you. It'll be the best decision you made to make your biggest impact on your 2020. And I know we sell out the boot camps just private duty because there's only so much space, right? I might have to eventually get like a convention center because there's only so much space we can have. So like 200 people is max. We sell that out with the private duty. Adding home health and hospice, this event will probably sell out before February. So if you want to go, check your calendar, commit now, save $300, get your power partners there, and make this the year of you and your company. So while this is up, Cheryl, the question that Michael is asking is, how much is the reimbursement rate from the VA?
Well, For the pension with the aid and attendance benefit through Veterans Care Coordination, what we do is we do an analysis of your area to see what the going rate is in your area. We ask for our partners to take a small discount, and then we work that out through. So it'll be individually depending on where you are, and we want it to be fair for you as our partner, and also fair for the veteran. And we take the risk. That's what I want to emphasize. We take the risk in all of this, and we want to work with partners who want to take this to their community.
Awesome. I love it. And then the second question that Michael's asking here, this one's for me, is how much is the average long-term care insurance reimbursement rate? And Michael, that is all dependent on the policy itself. So some long-term care insurance policies will have like a max daily benefit of, say, $100 a day or $200 a day. Some will have a annual maximum payout. So they don't put a limit on the amount that they're going to pay per day, but they'll say we're not going to pay more than $20,000 a year. Some have an elimination period of either finances that have to be laid out or a time period or something of that nature. So every policy is different. This is the big reason why my home care special ops class, I spend so much time in this, because it's complicated. It really is complicated. What I want to show everybody here, while you see on the screen here, and again, I would mark this website down and get your tickets now. The website is live. Everything is there. But I want to show you the revenue by payer sources, all right? This kind of goes to the point that I was taking here, and this is why I have Cheryl on with me. So here you have Cheryl, all right? Private pay, we both said it. Private pay is the number one way. Of all private pay companies, it's more than 70% of your revenue coming in. Long-term care insurance is a little bit more than 10%, which is good but not great. When I had my company, my $5+ million, multi-million-dollar home care company, 25 to 30% of our annual revenue came from long-term care insurance. This is the reason why I say you should accept the assignment of benefits, because if you can get a third of your revenue, I mean, think about it. $5+ million a year, a third of our revenue, that's $1.5, $1.6 million just from long-term care insurance as a guaranteed payer source. Every week, we had $10,000+ coming in from long-term care insurance companies. So it's a great payer source. But look at this. Here we have Cheryl on here live with us. 3%. I mean, look at that drop off. 70, 75%. 10, 12%, and then 3.5% is the drop off from the veterans. That is way too low from a government payer source, and I think a big reason why is because people try to go directly to the veterans when you can go with a company like Cheryl's in Veterans Care Coordination. So after this is over, we're going to send all of you a copy of the recording, and we'll put Cheryl's contact information, or we'll make sure there's a way for you to reach Cheryl or her company that she represents, so this way you can reach out to them to get more information on it. I will also send you details on the boot camp and such, and then I'll answer a couple of other questions that I have here as well. In Ohio, it's only $18 an hour. Cheryl, do you want to speak on that real quick? Someone's saying that the reimbursement in Ohio is $18 an hour for the veterans.
Is that for long-term care or for veterans?
I'm not sure. Shakayla, is that for long-term care or veterans? She didn't specify.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. We'd have to look at where.
She was saying it's for the veterans. Yeah, it wasn't a question though, so she clarified. So sorry about that. All right, other questions here. Cheryl, what is the current number of veterans that do not know about the aid and attendance? Do you know?
Well, what I do know is, like I said, only 3% actually have the benefit, but there are 18 million veterans in the U.S. As of 2018. And so, the Veterans Administration doesn't do a great job of, talking about these benefits. I don't think they don't mean for people to take advantage of them. It's just that they're not good communicators with it. So very few know about it. I talked to my husband's uncle, and he had no idea that this was available to him, and he needed it.
So there you go. So you hear that, folks? So it's 3% are receiving it. 18 million veterans in the United States. That's a crazy number when you think about it. Getting the word out there is great. Cheryl, what's your website?
It is vcchc.com.
vcchc.com. Veterans
That's
Care
right.
Coordination Homecare.com. vcchc.com. Great.
That's right.
And then long-term care, Gavin is asking, do you go to the long-term care agents and market? Gavin, once you start getting enough policies, yes. So in a nutshell, you start collecting policies, you're getting patients, you start setting up accounts with you start creating up a preferred provider status with these long-term care companies, and then they start sending you patients, and you can market to them directly on the local level when they exist there, or on the national level through the contact call center and the claims specialists themselves. So I'm telling you, Gavin, it's a lot to go through. I have an entire 60-minute lesson on the home care special ops class that I do with people. Consider that, all right? Kate is asking here, last year the percentage was 70%. Has that changed? So as I'm showing you this right here, this is what you're referencing here. The 70% is changing. More people are going with private pay. I don't know if that's because less people are taking other payer sources. Like when I see the veterans number here, that's good. Medicaid number is going down, which the Medicaid reimbursement isn't good. So that totally makes sense. Like I get that. So it is one of those things that maybe payer sources are changing. Medicaid waivers, there are cuts everywhere around the country. And so I know here in New Jersey, they're just cutting stuff left and right. And so as Medicaid waivers are cutting, as other things are cutting, you're going to see agencies start looking more and more towards the better payer sources. This is why we have VCC here. This is why I say long-term care to supplement also with your private pay. So that's a good just follow-up to that. And then Cheryl's company, again, Elizabeth is asking, it's Veterans Care Coordination, vcchc.com. Veterans, I got that question there already taken care of. In Dallas, VCC is $17. You got to double check on that one. I'm not sure on that one, but just see what it is there for everybody. So again, folks, thank you so much. Cheryl, thank you for being on here with me. This was a pleasure, my friend.
Definite pleasure for me as well. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Everyone, have a wonderful night, and get your power partners, get to this event. Incredible content, some new stuff, combining things. This will be like nothing I've ever done before. Early bird tickets, do not wait. They will sell out. I love you all. Thank you so much. Oh, and Gavin, thank you so much. Nicole, thank you so much for the happy birthdays. God bless all of you. I love you all. Have a good night, my friends.